This is KUGAN CASSIUS for IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. We're in the Matchroom Gym here. I'm joined by Mr. Conor Benn. Just finished a tick-over training session.
Say so. Still harder than most people's training, but yeah, it was all right.
Yeah, to get that one in. How do you know that?
I just know.
But it is a tick-over because obviously your next kind of fight date camp hasn't quite started yet. Or has it?
It hasn't. Obviously, I've kept myself in shape, so I'm at a head start already. You know, when I start camp, if I need a few days off in camp because the training's, really intensified, then I'm able to take them days off.
I'm pretty sure that I spoke to you immediately after your win over Van Heerden, and you were pretty much straight away back in the gym, almost within a couple of days.
I was in the gym on the Monday. Do you know what? It's just I just keep the momentum going. I don't need to. It was 1.5 rounds, or 4 minutes. So it's like just ready to get back out there, go again. Tony said go away for a little while, so he went to Paris for a few days, and I promised him I wouldn't take my running shoes, so I didn't do no training out there, and just ready to get back to it now. No.
Obviously, prior to the fight, the kind of questions that were being asked of you in regards to Van Heerden, and you said that it was more so the southpaw element, which was something you'd have to work out. Obviously, that you worked out relatively quickly, but as a learning fight compared to kind of these last 4 fights previous to that, what did you actually learn from that fight?
I got caught with shots in I wouldn't get caught with against an orthodox. The plan was always to go in there and apply pressure. I went in there not to give a 6'1" southpaw room to box. You hear Froch, and I think it was Froch going, yeah, he's reckless and all that. It's just rubbish again. It's like bollocks, mate. Do you know what I mean? Just because I didn't do what you do. Imagine if I'd done what any other fighter had done and, take my time. When I see a twitch of the eye, I'm on you. I'm in it. Do you know what I mean? I ain't going to go in there and, give a 6'1" room, southpaw room to box. No, I'm going to go in there and, set it. It's first impression. The first round is the first impression. To me, I'll go in there and I'll let him know straight away. And then you see the second round, I come out more calculated and took my time. So the plan was always to go in there and steam into him, and that's exactly what I've done. That was our game plan. Just because it ain't your game plan, don't mean I'm reckless or wild or, I was on him straight away.
Are you making reference to comments that Carl Froch had made?
I am indeed, yeah.
Which comments are you referring to on that?
Just he's reckless. He's I think that was the exact word. He's reckless and swinging or whatever it was. Bloody right, I'm swinging. Do you know what I mean? So and in the second round, if I didn't, most fighters would go, yeah, take it easy. Try and outbox him or try and suss him out. I know how hard I hit, so I'm going to go in there and I'm going to, set the pace. He's been out of the ring for 2 years, and he's more experienced, he's older. So when I go in there, he reckons he was going to try and box me. Well, no, I'll drag him into a fight, and apply the pressure, which is exactly what I've done. I feel like the first round is always the first impression. I want him to know he's in for a really hard night's work, and him think, shit, what have I got myself into? And you could see that I caught him with some lovely shots in the first round, and just straight away from the first round realised he was everything it played out every way I thought it was going to play out. And when I say to people, I plan on these fights looking exactly like the fights they are, that's what I mean. It's making them look like that. You hear other fighters have bad performances against journeymen. It's like, mate, oh yeah, but the better fighter I face, the better I'll beat. No, mate, it's rubbish. So I plan on making these fights look exactly like they are, and they are.
I mean, to be fair to yourself, I think, I don't know if it was at the press conference or like a head-to-head situation, you actually said this to Chris Van Heerden, exactly what you're saying, that any kind of mistake or anything you feel like you can capitalise on, you will expose that. And in your defence, you did that. You did exactly what you actually said prior to the fight you were going to do.
Yeah, but I said the same with Vargas. I said I wouldn't be surprised if I knocked him out in the first round. You know, said the same about youre. So, you know, I don't just talk it. I actually do it. You've got a lot of fighters out there who talk so much, who waffle on social media and try and call out fights. Like, mate, you're rubbish, innit? Like, you know, you talk the part, but you don't back it up. Do you know what I mean? And when I say I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it. And you know, straight away from the first round, I knew Van Heerden won no match. If I'd give him room to box, it may have been slightly different. If I'd given him space and time to, you know, work the jab and use his ring craft and use his experience, but I don't give these fighters that time. I don't give them time to think. I'm on them. Do you know what I mean? So, and that's my approach. They say experience kills, like youre said. If I gave them time to utilise that experience, but I don't. I'm on you, and you know, my explosiveness and velocity, I'll let them know. So, yeah, man, that played out every way I thought it would play out.
I think probably about a year and a half ago, I kind of saw a real influx of boxers kind of calling your name, mentioning your name. It looks like to me that that's not as vigorous and as frequent as it was a year and a half ago, as you've kind of probably had 2 or 3 fights in that period as well. Is that something you're noticing, or are you still seeing people like actively calling you week by week?
Not really actively calling me. Van Heerden asked for the fight, and obviously I'll take any fight presented to me. Do you know what I mean? Apart from all these other wallies. Do you know what I mean? I'm not interested in that. Do you know what I mean? But when it comes to veterans of the game, former world champions, people who have just come off a loss or had a hard fight with world level oppositions, not any of these other wallies who have called my name out. I just have no interest, and I think they know we're worlds apart in terms of fighting ability and rankings. You know, I'm really knocking on the door for a world title. I think the WBA are making me #1 contender, number 3 in the WBO, even though that isn't my organisation. For the WBC, IBF top 5. So it's like I'm right there. Why am I going to look at these other fighters? You know, but it has died down, definitely.
Can I ask you, when you refer to wallies, who are you referring to when you say that these guys kind of you're on a different path?
More so the fighters here. Do you know what I mean? Like a lot of fighters here, the delusional ones. Do you know what I mean? You've got McKinson, who's obviously, I feel like out of all the British fighters, don't get me wrong, I like Lewis Crocker as well. I think he's a great fighter, in my opinion. You know, each their own, but in my opinion, I think he's a good fighter. And I didn't know of him until I see his fight. I was watching a boxing one night and I see him on there and I thought, he actually looks all right. And then Michael McKinson, obviously. I feel like we're the ones leading the way for British boxing. In terms of winning a world title, will be me and McKinson at the present moment. I feel like we've got the most momentum behind us, and we're miles ahead of anyone in the British scene.
So, but McKinson, which he has done for a little while, mentioned your name, you don't put him specifically in that bracket of wanting a fight with you?
No, of course he wants to fight. Listen, don't get me wrong, of course he wants to fight, but I'm just, you see, his style is just, the only people call for the fans call for the fight, but not the fans, his friends. So that's the difference. The fans wouldn't be interested in that fight because they know what McKinson brings to the table, which is, I mean, listen, I mean, you never see a boring Conor Benn fight, but I mean, I feel like that would have the potential to be quite a boring fight, not from my part. Do you know what I mean? I'm just not interested in boring fights. You know, he does what he's got to do to get the win, like he does what he needs to do, so it's obviously effective. It's not a matter of whether I think I'll win or not win. It's not a matter of me thinking, oh, stay clear. No, he's just terrible stylistically in terms of I don't fancy that sort of fight. I'd rather a fight. Do you know what I mean? So, for a world title, when I bring the world title back, of course, you know, it makes for a big domestic, and that's what the public want.
So, in your career as you go on, how much of that public opinion do you kind of take on board as a fight that they would want to see, kind of in comparison to what you believe and your team believe is best for your career?
What do you mean?
All right, so if the public, as in people on your social media, believe that the best fight for you is, say, Evanescence, which bangs out the O2, which I believe it does, you and Evanescence bangs out the O2, where do you look at that and think, well, okay, I understand that the public think that's a good fight, but I still need to do what's best for my career, as in terms of chasing a world title?
No, listen, I'll take that fight all day long. And if the public want it, likely the public are going to get it. Do you know what I mean? But it's a matter of look at who's in what position. And that answers that question. What position I'm in and what position he's in. Do you know what I mean? He's just come off the back of fighting Metz and Taylor. I've just come off the back of fighting Algieri and Van Herden and knocking them both out unconscious. So, but he won't get stick for fighting Metz. I mean, imagine if I said my next opponent's Metz. Oh my goodness. Or Liam Taylor. Oh my word. I'd get absolutely slated. I would, wouldn't I? Oh, mate, imagine. I'd love. But then again, listen. He's obviously at a stage in his career where now it really does matter financially in terms of his team looking at that. I'm not looking at anything financially. You know, I'm getting paid good. So I don't need to look elsewhere. The hard fights for me will come. I like the fights of the Jaron Ennis or the Virgil Ortiz. I don't know if he's moving up, but those fights could happen really soon. I mean, you're talking this year. So as far as he goes, well, Warren can't really offer him nothing. That's why he's fighting Metz and Taylor. What else can he offer him? You know? And he signed him on the back of me, obviously. But it ain't going to work. Do you know what I mean? It was a good move. It didn't make out like we're ducking him. It's a good move. But sorry, mate. Do you know what I mean? Your card ain't worked. Not a good card you played. You know, so.
What would it take for you to be... No, you said you'll fight anyone, but to have a general interest for your career more so, what would it take for that fight to happen between you and Evanescence?
You're talking to me like it's my decision.
Well, it kind of is your decision. I know obviously you're guided by your team and that's why they're there for.
You say that, but then it comes down to, well, I'm higher than him in all the rankings. All of them. I wait for my world title shot. Why take a fight with him when I can, unless it's for a final eliminator or for a world title? I'm really interested. Do you know what I mean? When you've got bigger, massive names in America that will sell out in America, that will sell out here. Do you know what I mean? Rather than find amnesty for the European when I'm ranked, you know, 3 in the WBO and number 1 in the WBA, which I believe they're making me number 1 mandatory position. And then I'm going to fight. It doesn't make no sense for my career anyway. Do you know what I mean? So that's that. And as I said, you know, I wanted that British title bad. You know, we tried everything we could in our power to make that fight with Jenkins happen. Do you know what I mean? And then it was Johnny Garton years and years ago when Johnny Garton was British champion. So I'm not British champion because of him. You think I'm going to do him any favours because I know he signed Ava on the back of me. Sorry, mate. Now you're stuck with him. Now deliver him a big fight, please.
Immediately after your fight with Van Heerden, there was a little moment there with you calling in Amir Khan. It kind of sort of come and went over the weekend. It wasn't really spoken about after that. I think, obviously, it's a fight that you've said actively that you would like, but was that just, no?
No, I never said I actively want that fight.
Well, you've never said that that's a fight that you fancied, you and Amir Khan?
Yeah, before Kell Brook. Not after. I mean, who wants scraps? Do you know what I mean? Who wants someone's leftovers? I don't. Do you know what I mean? I don't do leftovers.
I'm only making reference to it because he got in the ring through your invitation, and it was kind of, I just said that moment kind of came and went over the weekend, and wasn't really kind of, nothing really happened off the back of it.
Well, I see an interview of him saying, yeah, he'll have the fight and all that, and you know, he fancies a fight. I just thought I'd give him that opportunity there to express those feelings. And obviously it was so far the polar opposite. Even Eddie was half a bit shocked, but I wasn't really interested in that fight anyway. You know, so I ain't really interested in the Brook fight, to be honest.
Yeah, I was going to ask, where are we with Kell Brook? Anything potentially could materialise this year?
No, I think I don't know, he's gone missing, isn't he? I don't know where he is. We don't know where he is. So
has there been any contact between the teams?
Between the teams, I believe so, but not between the fighter and his team. So between the teams, yeah, I believe so. But as I said, I ain't going to put my career on hold for nobody, whether it's financially great or not. You know, I'll do what's best for me and my career, and that ain't waiting around for anyone.
I'm pretty certain Eddie Hearn has gone on record in some interview and said that there will be potentially a big fight for you if you're fighting in the summer. So I'm assuming there's probably a list like there always is with you. What can you tell us about that?
I know I've mentioned the names Keith Thurman, Danny Garcia, Mikey Garcia. I believe he was reaching out to all of them. You got Mario Barrios. Then you've got Hooker, which I'm really interested in. There was some more. There were some other big names, but he's out in Vegas now, so just wait till we're back. But those were the names mentioned. Those were the teams he was going to reach out to. There's another name, Jose Ramirez. So listen, let him do what let them do what they got to do. They do what they do. I do what I do. Do you know what I mean? So they present a name to us. Tony goes, who do you want out of the lot? I'll go X, Y, Z. See if any of them can actually materialise, and then they're made, and then we go and we move.
But you feel that whoever this opponent is, should you fight in the summer, it will be kind of, let's bracket kind of, if we're going to bracket your last 5 opponents in one, this is moving on to a different tier of fighter for your career.
Definitely. Yeah. I'd say either of these opponents you could fight as a final eliminator. I mean, Keith Thurman fought Barrios for a final eliminator for the WBC. So it could be final eliminator interim regular level. So that's where we're sort of hovering about at the minute. But obviously, you know, we want that world title next year, so it'll probably be this fight in the world title, in my opinion. If they offer me the world title next, I'll take it.
Yeah, it's a great fight, you and Keith Thurman. It's a brilliant fight.
So do I. That's the one I want out of the lot. That's the main fight I want, is Thurman out of the whole bunch of names I just mentioned. Great fighter. But I believe I'd be too much.
Okay, so we're starting May now, so if you are going to fight, I'm assuming it'll be potentially around late June, July, that sort of time?
Early July, I reckon.
Yeah.
That's the plan, but I think we've got a venue as well, but I'll as I said, wait till Eddie's back and then we can have a meeting and discuss the steps moving forward. Yeah,
Eddie's out with Canelo in Las Vegas. I don't suppose anyone can get hold of Eddie when he's with Canelo. He's his best friend.
He's probably doing some shopping in D&G.
It's a good shout, actually. What do you think of that fight between Canelo and Bivol?
I think Canelo stops him 6-8, in my opinion. He's the better better fighter out of the lot of the people in that division, in terms of Bivol, Artubertiev, Johnson, Kovalev and Bivol are probably the names I would say are the better names for Canelo. So I think it has the same sort of play out as Kovalev, maybe not. Yeah, like that's how I see it playing out anyway, around 6-8 stoppage.
I don't know if you've watched it, but obviously a sensational fight between Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano in New York from the weekend. Have you had a chance to watch it?
I haven't. I watched bits of it. From what it looked like, unbelievable fight, great fight. Everyone's raving about the fight. How unbelievable. Packed out Madison Square Garden. Unbelievable. And then Katie Taylor in the 5th round looked like she was on wobbly legs. Looked like it was like proper. It was a proper fight, wasn't it?
I haven't actually spoke to you. Sorry, just moving on from that. I know you were. I didn't see you at Wembley for Fury and Dillian White, but yeah, any fight at the National Stadium involving heavyweights, especially the likes of Fury and White, it was some night there.
I was so confused. I've gone, hold on a minute. Dylan's come out of Southport. What? I was so discombobulated watching that. I thought, how'd you come out of Southport when you've got someone across the ring from you who's very awkward, but can also fight Southpaw, fight Southpaw. I was just, yeah, as I said, discombobulated is the word. Flabbergasted. them words that I can't even pronounce properly. That's how I felt.
Great uppercut, which obviously ended the fight from Tyson Fury. There was a few comments made after from Dillian Whyte about kind of the punch, then the push, etc. How did you see that?
Don't know, because I've seen a heavyweight go down, and when they hit their head as bad as that on the floor, mate, you know you can feel it. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, maybe, I know in my head when he was saying it, I thought, yeah, he meant from the push as to why he didn't get back up. But it is right, when you hit your head on the canvas like that as a heavyweight, it definitely must have still had an effect. But I mean, it's in such a short period, you don't know if it's true or not. So that's what he's saying. It might be very true that if he didn't bang his head, he would have tried to come together and manage to be all right. Or not, or he's just saying that. You don't know. Only he knows whether it's the truth or not.
And Fury stays retired, in your opinion?
No. It's good promo though. Because what he might do is go, oh, you know, I'm retired, sorry. Yeah, we'll offer you an extra 20 mil. All right then, go on then. Do you know what I mean? It could be one of them ones. Listen, he's a businessman as well as anything else. What people forget is we're businessmen. We try and make savvy moves ourselves. We try and make moves that's best for our careers. Do you know what I mean? And you know, they go, oh, why is Conor calling out Kell Brook? Why is Conor calling out Khan? Why is Conor getting Khan in the ring? Mate, they're just business transactions. Do you know what I mean? I look at that and go, yeah, it's a business transaction. Kicking off with another fighter, you know? Yeah, it's what you do. You are your business. You are your promotion. Do you know what I mean? And too many people rely on other people promoting them. I promote myself. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm going to promote myself like no one else does. That's why I am the way I am with what I do. It's all really is just business. Do you know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, you respect all fighters. Yeah, it's mad. But that's definitely a business decision that he's made there in terms of raising the bar in the financial department.
Okay, well, Conor, appreciate your time. We'll catch up with you again when you've got some fight news, which I'm assuming if you're looking at kind of July time, that might be that long.
Obviously, Canelo's out of his best friend, Eddie Hearn. So, you know.
Team G&G.
I might go there now as it happens. Get myself one of them pyjama set that Eddie's got.
Takes a special kind of man to pull that pyjama combo off. Actually, you could probably pull that off because you've, yeah.
Mate, you see what shoes I've got on my feet?
Can you just hold one up rather than me pan down?
Hello, babe? Yeah, I'm coming home now. Right, we're going chandelier shopping. Right, I'm coming now. Bye.
Do you wear them when you're writing in your Louis Vuitton diary, by the way?
Do I what?
Do you wear them when you're... Rumours. Listen, rumour has it. I mean, I don't know if that's true or not. Conor, thank you very much for your time, and listen, we'll definitely catch up again once you've got some more news, yeah.
Definitely, mate.
Welcome, Team Everlast, to the Team Everlast Fitness app. Download the Everlast Fitness app and find your greatness within.